Could the 2D universes that our favorite characters belong to exist? Hello learners, welcome to Trick Science, the show that sometimes delves into the theories surrounding the existence of other universes. In this episode, we're going to be diving into the speculations and theories surrounding the existence of universes with not 3 dimensions of space, but 2. You see, for decades, the idea of complex life being able to exist in a dimension with anything more or less than 3 dimensions has been thought to be impossible. So humanity finding itself in a 3+1 dimensional universe is inevitable. The 3 standing for 3-dimensional and the 1 standing for time. This is known as the anthropic argument, the idea that the universe itself must have the properties necessary for life to come about. It's also thought that a universe could not exist or does not exist until it's actually observed existing, as observers actually shape the present, future, and past all at once. But that's more of a whole episode in itself. What we're doing today, my friends, is determining if any of our favorite 2D video games like The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, and beyond could actually exist or not. Cause why not? I'm sure we'll all sleep better at night knowing that Samus is saving the universe from another energy-sucking monster somewhere. The anthropic argument, which says we need a 3-dimensional space and single dimension of time for life to exist, has pretty much stood unopposed, mainly due to 2 arguments. One, that a 2D universe would lack a local gravitational force, aka Einstein's theory of general relativity, which states that objects with mass actually weigh down the fabric of space, causing other objects to slide towards it, so no galaxies or solar systems could possibly form. And 2, the restriction of life to a planar topology, or as we know it, a 2D old-school Mario game where you can only move side to side or up and down, is too simple for life to exist. It's often argued that a 2D universe just couldn't support the highly sophisticated networks of our brains. Yeah, that's right, us 3D beings sure are some snappy, smart creatures. Until now. The recent work of physicist James Scargill, against all expectations, shows that a 2+1 dimensional universe could support both gravity and the complexity that life requires. The type of gravity present, however, wouldn't be the one we know. Instead, it would be a much simpler scalar gravitational field. Scalar gravity is actually the way we used to think of gravity, where gravitational force is dependent on how close massive objects are in relation to each other. Even more impressively, complex life is theorized to be possible in a 2D environment. This is due to the existence of what is called a small world network, where, like all networks, whether it be social or neural, there exists a large number of connected nodes that share information with one another. What's unique about a small world network, and why it's called Small World, much like everyone's favorite Disney ride that has you screaming for mercy as you hear the same song repeated for 15 minutes straight, is despite the large number of nodes, it is still possible to find short communication pathways between any of the nodes in the system, allowing for information to travel quickly to anywhere in the system. These small world networks make it possible for 2D beings like Paper Mario to come about and save a continually kidnapped Princess Peach for the 24th time? It will never get old. The games are seriously fun. But there is just one problem. These small world networks also have to be able to combine to form a larger network, which they can, and then be able to reach a point called criticality. Instead of going into the rather long explanation of this concept, I'll save you the time and say that criticality is a point that our brains remarkably tune themselves to, where all the neurons are able to come together and operate at a point where they're as excitable as possible without falling into complete chaos. But physicist Scargill, through some rather complex math equations and a fascinating read that's linked below, was able to demonstrate that a 2D network, much like the one going on in our dear Paper Mario's head, is able to achieve a point of criticality for some processes. So while our favorite 2D characters could very well exist, they might be a little slow. I guess that explains why Link is always smashing priceless antique pots. Oh wait, that's actually just regular 3D Link. But before you go, this research does at least prove one encouraging point, that you as a person, much like the nodes in 2D Link's head, are way more connected to all the people in the world than you think, and your actions will propagate and affect far more people than you realize interface through the global network that we all find ourselves in, as you're literally one node or person away from being connected to a million people and 2 people away from a billion. Anyways, that's just some science. Trick science! See you learners on the flip side!